it's Marnie. Okay, I'm coming at you with a storytime video. I've never done a storytime video. This is going to be my very first one, and I don't even know if I'm going to put this up, but I'm going to tell you about it, and if it goes up, it goes up, and if it doesn't, then it's just going to go in my archive. Okay, so I've never really spoke to anybody except for, you know, my husband and my close friends and stuff like that about this story. Before I met Chris, I was with a man, and we dated for 16 years. And so I started dating when I was 18, and I don't even know how to start this. Okay, so we started when I was 18, and I had the biggest crush on him when we, like 2 years before we started dating. I was 16 years old. I had a huge crush on him, and he worked at the grocery store that my mom went grocery shopping at. And yeah, I was infatuated with him. And so when I turned 18, he actually asked me out. And so we did. We dated for quite a while. And I say about 2 years into our relationship, about that, he asked me to marry him. And of course I said yes. And I have my engagement ring, and I still have my engagement ring with him. But we never got married. I've never been one to, I've never been like gushy and wanting to get married, and I've never been like that. So, I don't know how to say this. Okay, so that's not even the story. That's not the story. We dated for 16 years. We never got married. Let's see. So I think it was about 6 or 7 years into our relationship. We lived together, obviously, and I came home one day. We were supposed to go to, I think we were supposed to go to Vegas, and that was back when you wrote checks to get cash. And so he worked at a grocery store, and I came home on my lunch break. I was going to pick up a coworker, which was my employee because I was a manager at the time. So I came home, which was right down the street from where I worked. I worked at Costco. I worked there for, gosh, like 16 years also. 15, 16 years, I don't know. This is really difficult for me. So I came home, and my employee, or my coworker, was sitting in the car waiting for me, and I came home, and I knew he was off that day, or went in later to work because he worked late. And so I came home, and I was like, honey, I'm home, and I didn't see him. So I was like, okay, maybe he's still in bed or whatever. So I was walking up the stairs, and I heard this noise, and I was like, what is that noise? And I was like, as I walked up the stairs even more, I heard it even more, and I'm like, no, there's just no way. So I walked up, and I opened the door, and there he was having sex with a woman that I didn't know who she was at the time when I walked in. I mean, I knew of her. So I guess I must have gasped. He jumps, and I start running. I started running down the stairs. He grabs me, and all I hear is the woman's voice. And as soon as I heard the woman's voice, I knew exactly who she was. She's like, Marnie, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what? Oh my God, I knew it. And that's all I kept saying. I effing knew it. I knew it. And so he's like, he grabbed me by the arm, and he's naked, and I'm halfway down the stairs. He's kind of like leaned over, grabbing my arm, and I just went and I punched him, and I just started punching him. I'm like, get out of my house. You're not here. Get out. When I get home, you are not to be here. Get out. And I was hysterical. I was just hysterical. And so I ran out to my car, and I mean, I knew who she was. I didn't see her in the bed with him. I just saw, of course, she was laying down, so I just saw his back, and I just recognized her voice, so I knew who she was. And so I ran upstairs and ran into the car, and my coworker was like, what happened? Why are you? I was bawling. I couldn't talk. I was just like trying to tell her the story, and I'm like, fuck that shit. Fuck that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go kick her ass, because she knew me. She actually was a customer of my husband at the store. she knew me and she knew of me, and she was having problems with her husband. I don't know if they were married at that time, but she was having problems with her husband. And I, you know, consoled in her, and I was like, not consoled her, but I was there to listen to some of her stories, and I was like, you know, that, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, just, I was there for her. Not a lot, obviously not as much as my ex-boyfriend was, but yeah, so I knew of her, she knew of me, and just the fact that she knew that he had someone in his life, and for her to be doing that made me mad. And of course I was mad at him too, but I was mad at her because, you know, as a woman, you go after the other woman. So I ran back inside the house. I told my coworker, I'm gonna go kick her ass. So I ran back inside, and she was gone, and he was in the shower, and you know, and then he's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm like, get out, get out, get out. When I get back from work, get out. And he had the nerve to ask me about Vegas. He's like, but aren't we going to Vegas? Get out, get out. You and I are done, get out. So he had the nerve to ask me about Vegas, which is, now it's hilarious to me, but back then it was just like, are you kidding me? Get out. So he moved out. He did move out. He didn't come home that night, obviously, because I wasn't going to let him come home. And then I think over the weekend, that weekend, it was the weekend. So she contacted me, and she wanted to talk to me, and I was like, I want to know the details. I want to know what's going on. So yeah, of course, I invited her to my house, and there she pursued to tell me all the intimate details and about their relationship, and she did hurt me, and she obviously did hurt me. She hurt me really bad. And so she told me just way too many details, and she also told me that for the 6 or 7 years that we were together, about half that time she was with him. About half the time. So about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years into our relationship, they started dating. And I had no clue. I had no clue whatsoever. I trusted him with 100%. I mean, 100%. People kept telling me, Marty, he's probably cheating, because we weren't having a lot of sex. He's probably cheating. And I'm like, no, no, no. You don't know him like I know him. And I trust him 100%. And unless that would have happened, and people could have told me, hey, I see him with her or whatever, I would have trusted him 100% until I saw it with my eyes. And so when I did see it, I knew. And when she told me that they had been dating for about 3 years, it broke my heart, because they both hid that from me for 3 years. 3 years. I felt so stupid, so naive, I mean, I didn't even know what to do. So he did leave, and I lived on my own, and he helped pay half my rent, and he lived on his own. And so a stupid me, 6 months later, I took him back, and he moved back in. And then we went out and we bought a house together, and we still hadn't gotten married. And thank God we had never got married. So we lived together for about 9 more years. And finally one day I was done. I was completely done, because after that time, I never trusted him again. And to this day, I know I can't trust him. But it's now been 10 years, and I've been with my boyfriend. Now we're going to get married. We're going to get married on March 17th. So depending on how soon this video goes up, which is probably going to go up today. So March 17th, we are going to get married. And he asked me to marry him about 6 months ago or so, maybe less, 4 months ago, I don't know. But he's very persistent. He's like, no, we're getting married. I love you. We're getting married. And that's something that my ex never did. And I've just never been the type that was all gushy and wanted a wedding. So we're going to get married in the court, Laguna Court. We're going to get married on the 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. And it's just perfect, because both of our favorite color is green, which is awesome. So you know what? Things happen for a reason, and I do trust my boyfriend now, soon to be husband, 100%, and you can't be with someone unless you trust them 100%. And that is why it never worked out between me and my ex, because I never trusted him after that. After that, he it lost my trust, and I questioned it all the time, and I was miserable all the time, asking about her all the time, and you can't live like that. So that's it. That's how I walked in on my boyfriend having sex with a woman. Oh, and get this, you'll never get it. The woman that, and you can Google it probably, she was on the new Tyra Banks show, kind of at the, I don't even know what it's called, the Tyra Banks, and I'll put it down in the description. She was actually picked to be on Tyra Banks as a makeover. She works at, I don't know if she still works, yeah, I guess she still works at Coco's. She's a waitress at Coco's, and she was picked to have a makeover, and she looked good. She looked good after her makeover, but before her makeover, she looked not so good, but you know, whatever. But yeah, it just amazed me that she was on a TV show, and I just couldn't believe it. And she didn't look like she was happy with her makeover, but whatever. But yeah, she was on Tyra Banks, and she was on the very first episode of this Tyra Banks show. I forgot what it's called, but it was like last year, I think. But yeah, she was on there, so which just blew me away, because they were both very private people, and this really blew me away when I saw it. But anyways, that's besides the point. That's how I found out that my ex was cheating on me, and I walked in on them having sex. It was awful, but you know what? Now I'm happy, and I have a future husband that loves me, and I've never been happier. So, okay, until next time, I will see y'all later. Take care, everybody. Bye.